Last night we crossed over 1.5 million coronavirus COVID-19 cases within the United States of America. We are vastly approaching 100,000 deaths within our nation. Not only have Americans had hardship, had sorrow throughout the last 2.5 months, they've also happened to become under financial strain, with people reducing income, people losing jobs, and this has impacted massively on their daily life and how they have enough money to afford just basic essentials to get by on a daily basis. Now, I've read a lot of comments on my YouTube channel, I've talked to a lot of people, and there is a massive urgency needed to get a second stimulus payment out to Americans as soon as possible. And there can be no more political debates, there can be no more political endeavours in the way. We must get this payment out. I've prepared a letter that I will be sending to Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States of America, at the White House. And what I need for you to like and to share this video, and hopefully we can get traction and a response from this letter. Now I'm going to read you out the letter that I have written. Mr. Donald J. Trump, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. I created a YouTube channel on the premise I would be providing financial tips and entertainment to Americans and people worldwide. However, I find myself looking for traction and public support to endeavour a meaningful response from you. Cash-deprived and fearful Americans are currently facing a pandemic like they've never seen before. COVID-19 has shook our nation. What makes the American people great is their resilience, which even though can be born through hardship and sacrifice, creates an everlasting bonding strength between us. A second stimulus check is needed, and it is needed now. I have read heartfelt messages from Americans who have lost their jobs, had their hours cut, or have been forced to take pay cuts. The profound tone from Americans is a desperate cry for a second stimulus payment. In these extravagant times, desperate measures call for desperate acts, and Americans need a prescribed clarity on financial aid. Financial aid for Americans should not be a political tool between Democrats and Republicans, but an exact matter of urgency. No American who is grieving the loss of a family member or a friend is contemplating the upcoming general election. No American who has lost their source of income and ability to buy basic living essentials can spare a thought for political disagreements. It's time for our nation's leadership to act diligently, accordingly, and without delay to process, approve, and sign into law a second stimulus check for Americans. Let's act now as a nation to reduce food bank queues, to help stress on charities, and to provide food and shelter for Americans who most need it. This demeaning pandemic has caused pain and tragedy to many. Let's not add to that pain and suffering by focusing on political aspirations, and let's get together and get checks out to Americans. As I depart this letter, I leave with a quote from a former president. Americans still believe in America where anything is possible. They just don't think their leaders do. This letter will be sent to Donald J. Trump in the White House today, and I am looking for a response. The American people need a second stimulus payment. You've heard it from people, you've heard it from everyone, and you know, do not hold this up. Do not hold a second payment up. Consult with whoever you need to consult, but get the payment done. Thank you. Take care.